When it comes to freelancing, one of the biggest hurdles that you're going to have to get through is starting. It's that first step in knowing whether or not you can actually do this, if you actually want to do this, and what it all entails to get started. Because once you start, you're not going to want to stop. You're going to keep going. You're going to want to keep problem solving and figuring out how to grow and how to do more within your freelancing business. But it's starting. It's taking that first step, that first big leap into something completely new that you've never done before and knowing that you can do it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I want to tell you a little bit about how I got started, and then I want to talk about how to work through these fears around getting started and what we can do about it. Okay, so if you've been around for a little while, you probably already know that I started my freelancing business after I had my first son, who just turned 5, by the way. Like, take a second. I can't even believe that he is 5. Like, I'm getting teary already. Like, he's 5. It's crazy. So I started my freelancing journey shortly after having him, and I can't look back. Like, I don't even think I could go back to corporate if I tried. It would be so hard. Like, just, I don't want to do it. I can't do it. But when I started, right, I was in human resources. That's what I went to school for. And I worked for a really great company, and I had a great team, and things were going really good there. And after I returned from my maternity leave, I shortly realized that I didn't want to be there anymore. Not that the job was bad or the people were bad, but I was no longer the right fit. I no longer wanted to be in that role of corporate mom. Now, before having my son, that's what I thought I was going to be. And I thought I was going to be that corporate mom, send him to daycare, and go to work. That's just what I expected. Like, that was what I was supposed to do. That's what I was going to do. That was the plan. I had no plans on staying home until I went back to work. And then I realized I don't actually want to do this. I want to be home, but I need income. We could not survive off of one income. We had decided that I was going to work, so our expenses were for a dual income. If we had decided that I wasn't going to work after we had our first kid, we would have done a lot of things differently, right? Maybe not have gotten that store credit card, maybe not have done that home improvement, maybe not purchased that specific house, right? So there was that expectation, like we planned on doing these certain things. So the income is needed. I needed something. So I couldn't just up and quit my job and do nothing. And I couldn't just be a stay-at-home mom, which would have been amazing. And I could no longer felt like I could fit into that corporate role anymore. And side note, there's nothing wrong with being a corporate mom. I know a lot of moms that are. We all have different paths that we want to be on. No path is the right path. No path is the wrong one. It's whatever one is right for you and your family and the season of life that you're currently in. And for me, in my season of life right now, it's working from home and being with my kids. So what happened for me? I first thought that I needed a new job. I thought it was the job that was the problem, not necessarily my desire to be there. So I started looking for new HR jobs and got a new HR job instead, thinking that that was the fix that I needed. Well, that job only lasted a few weeks because I really quickly realized that I didn't want to work in corporate. I did not want to leave my son anymore, and it was getting too difficult. So that job ended. A couple of weeks long, not much. Like, I think I was still in the training period, and we parted ways, just ended. And what I ended up doing is having a real conversation with my husband of, okay, I have a little bit of my 401k. I didn't have enough to really reinvest. And because I was not technically employed, I didn't have one I could roll it into. So, and because of the amount, they were going to cash it out. Like, that was their policy. It was under a certain amount, so they were going to cash it out. So we had the conversation of, okay, they're cashing out my 401k anyways. Why not use that fund to pay for me to do some sort of virtual assisting course? Because I have been looking at a couple at this point, and actually like go into this full on instead of doing it on the side. Because that was a conversation we were having. We were working towards and saving up for me to do this on the side, to do it and work my way out. of corporate because I had started looking into it and I was researching, and I'm a researcher. I get stuck in the research stage of things. I will research for a very, very long time. But once I actually make my decision, it's made, right? Like you can't change my mind. Nope. I've spent a year looking into this topic, doing all this research. Nope. Decision's made. I'm done. We're here. So I'd already been doing a lot of research. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, going through the social media, going through all these things and trying to like debunk it, like to prove that it was some sort of scam or that it wasn't real and that it was fake. And I couldn't prove that it was fake. Yes, there are fake people out there. There are fake businesses. There's garbage, but there is like, this is legit. And I was able to prove that to myself and to my husband, like, this is legit. And we had decided at that point, like, okay, fine, we're going to take the 401k. We're going to do this. So I picked a course, and it was a 12-week course. And I purchased the accelerating option so that I could do it self-paced. And I got it done in 6 weeks because I was not working. Okay. And my mother-in-law was watching my son 2 days a week, which was super helpful. And we had pulled him out of daycare. So I was really able to concentrate on going through this course because he was with her for 2 days. And at the time, my husband was working a 2-2-3 schedule, which, if you're not familiar with that, is 2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, 3 days off. And that works out to him working about 15 days a month. So that was a very ideal schedule and super helpful for me when I first got started working in the online space because he was home 15 out of 30 days of the month and he worked every other weekend. So there was just a really nice rotation there. So fast forward, I got through the course in 6 weeks instead of the 12. And then very shortly after that, I got my first client. And then her OBM liked me enough and took me under her wing and let me work for her directly. And I got to work for her as like a subcontractor. And I would work on her client stuff with her. And it was a huge learning opportunity that she allowed me to do this with her. And she taught me a lot. And I got to really not necessarily meet these clients necessarily, but see their business and see the platforms that they were using that she was working with and get a better understanding of the online space and really see the potential that was there. And then I was able to get that third client and keep going and keep going. Now, one way that I was very fortunate was that all of this started right before COVID hit, which was huge. So I got to get those first 2 clients before COVID hit and then keep those 2 clients through COVID while everybody kind of transitioned and figured out what they were doing in their businesses and how we were going to operate, right? So I was able to survive through that and figure out and grow during that period. And I think a lot of people really did get to grow working in the online space, even those in corporate, right? Everybody was working from home for a while there. But I was really fortunate that I had those 2 clients when I started. Now, fast forward now, right? 2024, I'm still in it, still doing the thing, still working from home. Went from 1 kids to 3, 3, and still working from home. But it's changed. How I work from home has changed. My hours, what I'm doing is all changed. And it's changed because of the path that I've chosen to go down. It's changed because of the decisions I've made and the different directions and options and things that have come up for me along this path. But the biggest decision was that first one, the one to start, the one to go and take that risk and do it, right? So if you're in that stage, right? You're in that stage of thinking, can I do this? Is it worth it? Is this real? Like, just the fear of it right now. I want you to do an exercise with me, okay? I want you to journal on a couple of questions that I'm going to ask you here in a minute, or at least think about them. And if you're not going to journal on them, I want you to have conversations around them, like bring it up to your spouse, bring it up to a friend, and kind of have that conversation, that dialogue around these questions, and really get to your reason why you are not making the move towards this right now. Okay. And you do not have to do it the way that I did. You do not need to leave your corporate job and just go cold turkey. Okay. You can do this on the side. You can grow it on the weekends and on the evenings and get those clients that way, replace that income, and then jump in completely if that's what you want to do. Okay, you do not need to have daytime availability necessarily to get this done. All right, you can work around your corporate job. All right, just a little side note. Okay, so the first thing I want you to think about is the obvious one of what are you scared of? What is the biggest fear right now that is holding you back from taking this jump? Is it financial? Is it security? Is it insurance? Is it 401k? Is it taxes? Taxes can be a little scary. Even, a couple years in now, like it's still a little like, when I think about doing taxes and getting all that stuff wrapped up. So what is that fear? That big fear right now that's holding you back? Rejection, failure, not good enough, not making enough income. What is it? Right? And write it down. What's really holding you back? And just, let the thoughts, let the stuff flow and let it go. And just really think about what is this big fear right now and why I can't do it. Then I want you to think about how much money you need, right? So it's a little bit more of a practical question. What is your income currently? What do you need to maintain your lifestyle? What do you need to grow your lifestyle? And then I also want you to think about daycare. If your child is in daycare, are they staying in daycare while you work from home? Are you going to pull them out of daycare? Was that a piece for you? For me, that was a big one. I didn't want them in daycare anymore. And it was for one kid back in 2019, it was like $75 a day for him to go. And I still had to provide the food and then transportation, of course. So is that an expense that you can alleviate, right? So if you're working from home and you take that expense out, you're saving a little bit of money there. And then how much money do you need to maintain your current lifestyle? Like that's your minimum, right? Your minimum bare bones. I need to make at least this much money. All right. And get that figure figured out of what that is, because you want to be realistic here, right? And you can't be realistic with hypotheticals and what ifs. We need real things, real facts. So, fact, how much do you need financially to make this happen? And then I want you to start thinking about other realistic things here, like insurance, right? Do you carry the insurance? Does your spouse carry the insurance? Can they carry the insurance? If you currently do, can you do private? What does that look like? And really think on those other pieces that could be holding you back, those logistics behind it. Do you have the setup for it, right? What do you need to freelance? Internet and some kind of computer. A laptop will work, a desktop works. I don't want to say a tablet could work, but it can get you through. But laptops are cheap. Like I have a Chromebook, it was $500, and I've upgraded to a desktop because I wanted a set space, but I have both, right? So the $500 laptop lasted me 2-3 years before I got the desktop. And the only reason I got the desktop was because I wanted to do podcasting and my Chromebook could not do the podcasting. And I wanted to have good video quality. And then I personally wanted to have a set space, an office space that I could work in so that I could shut down, right? Close off from work hours and not be so available and so connected. So that was one way that helped me set a boundary, was having a physical office space. All right. And then I want you to think about, what could this do for you? All right. So we thought about the negative. Why can't you do it? We're thinking about the logistics. What do you need to do this? What do you need to purchase if you need to purchase something? What do you need to replace? What can you get rid of, right? So can you get rid of daycare? Do you need to replace the insurance? Do you need to purchase equipment? Do you need to purchase a course? So really thinking through those logistics behind it and what you need, what those expenses look like if you need to acquire new things. And then if there's something holding you back, like a debt, is that something you need to do first? Do you have a credit card debt that you need to pay off first to feel secure in this? Do you want to have 3 months of mortgage payments in your savings account before you make this leap? What are those things that would make you feel comfortable to take those steps? Right? And these things are your first steps, right? Cutting out a debt, removing certain things, buying the computer. Those are all steps. Okay, we're gonna get back to that. So I want you now to think about, what could this do for you? I want you to think about what a day in your life would be like if you no longer worked in corporate, you worked from home around your schedule, around your kids' schedule, and you are making that money that you need to make. All right, we're not talking here thousands and thousands of dollars, a $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month. We're not talking about that. We're talking about replacing your income. So a realistic number for what you need right now. And your number is going to be different than everyone else's. So what does that look like for you? How many hours realistically do you want to be working for that to happen? What do you feel? How does your day start? Really think about who you would be in that moment and what a day in the life would be like for you in that step of life, in that step of your journey. Like you've been freelancing for a little while now, like just imagine what that could look like. And then think about those worries that you first wrote down in the beginning and start comparing in regards to, is this going to hold me back? Am I going to let these things hold me back? And hopefully you're going to say, no, I don't want these things to hold me back. But what do I do? How do I remove these fears, these negative things, and not let them stop me? What do I do? Well, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick a timeline. All right, we're going to pick a date because you need something to work towards, a goal. All right, you're going to pick a goal date 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 3 months, 9 months, whatever. Pick a date. All right, go in your calendar, find the day. I want to be freelancing and I want to put my 2-week notice in at my job on this day. Okay, get that date. Now we're going to work backwards. We're going to work on all of our goals that we want to have happen. Not goals. We're going to work on our action items. All right. The date is our goal. That's our end. That's our finish line is that date. What we need are action steps. We need a plan of action of what we're going to be doing. And what are you going to do first? What do we need to do? Do you need to buy equipment? Do you need to pay off those debts? What does that plan of action look like? If you have a debt to pay off and you want to be you want to be freelancing in 6 months, how much of that debt do you need to have paid off by then? Completely? Okay, great. What does that look like? Do you need to be putting an extra $100, an extra $200? What are you doing? And write that down. Write down your action steps. You're going to pay off this debt. You're going to purchase this computer. You're going to what? You're going to finish this course. You're going to work with this person. You're going to do what thing to learn what you need to learn. Then what are you going to do? You're going to get that first client. How do you get that first client, right? You're going to start thinking about getting that first client. What does that look like? What's your strategy plan behind that? Create that strategy plan and go get them. Go find them, right? Who do you know? Make those connections, get that client, and get that client that works around your schedule right now. Someone who knows that your goal is to leave corporate, but you need more than that one person to allow that to happen. So what does that look like? And can you work nights and weekends for that person? Because you should be able to. A lot of freelancers, you can work nights and weekends. It's not a big deal. What they care about is deliverables, right? They want you to hit the due date, get the thing done. They don't care when you do it. Just do it. That is one of my favorite things about freelancing. I don't care when you do it. Just get it done. I don't know what that looks like for you. I don't care what it looks like for you. You do it at 2:00 in the morning. You do you. Just get it done. This is when I need it by. And that's the beauty of it. So create that action plan of what you need to do by that due date to feel comfortable and confident to leave that corporate job behind and go into this full time. And really think about it for a minute here. Can you replace your income on the side, right? Or do you need to replace a percentage of your income with the plan to get more? So do you need a savings? For example, do you need 3 months of your mortgage in a savings account? Because your goal is to have one client that allows you to work on nights and weekends, and you want to have 3 months mortgage in your savings account, and then you can put your notice in. And then once you put your notice in, then you'll get 2 additional clients that you can work on throughout the day because that's your availability. Okay, like nap time, mother-in-law's babysitting time, whatever that looks like for you, and you're getting the stuff done. But really think about your timeline. Really think about the things that are holding you back and what you can do to check them off and get them done and move forward. So while you're going through these questions, while you're going through your action steps, I would love to hear from you. I would love to know either in my Instagram DMs or if you're watching this on YouTube, I'd like to know in the comments, wherever you find me, you know where to look, and tell me what your biggest fear is to start freelancing. And then if you have an action plan, what is that first thing you're going to do? What is that first big hurdle that you need to get over to make this a reality? I'd love to hear from you, and I want to know what those things are. And whatever your fears are, like I said, send me them in a DM, and maybe we can discuss it on a podcast episode, and I can kind of tell you my thoughts around that fear and how we can work through it and what you can do to turn that fear and turn it around and turn it into an action item and just get the thing done and start. Because like I said, that biggest hurdle is starting. Once you start, like you got momentum, like you're going, you got this. You just have to start. So figure out your start and let me know what that is. And I'll catch you on the next one.